Welcome back to another episode of Sippin With Sin. This is, I believe, episode 5. 5 episodes already. Look at us go. But happy to have you here for another fun-filled episode. We have a fun one today. It's gonna be very wrestling themed. So a little something different. We've been doing a lot of comics, a lot of movies, a lot of other things, a lot of other pop culture. But with the big showcase of Immortals coming up, I think a week from today, around a week from today, we figured we would kind of go over some news that's happened in WWE, maybe the game, maybe do some WrestleMania predictions and stuff like that, Hall of Fame, all that good stuff and things. But also, disclaimer, at the time of recording this, so this episode will be this week, this coming Wednesday. Then you won't really know what that is because you don't know what date it is. I could be in the future, in the past. You don't really know where I'm at right now. But yeah, so episode 5, this is episode 5. Episode 6 will be airing after that, and it was previously recorded the day before St. Patty's Day. So we knew scheduling conflicts were coming up, and it would be a busy 2 weeks, so we went ahead and recorded that one. So prepare for that episode pertaining to Batman Imposter. Christian goes on a tangent about that, as well as we talk about St. Patty's Day horror movies and stuff like that, getting ready for our St. Patty's Day shenanigans. But that'll be next week. This week, let's go ahead and welcome back the one and only Christian. Christian, how you doing, sir?
Hello. Doing well, man. Doing well. It's good to be back for another episode.
Heck yeah. So, last week we had Papa Ding on. We talked about, his finished up his Sinister tale. We got some background on him and all that stuff. But we missed you, Christian. We did miss you. We missed your sweet, sensual voice on this cast.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. We're giving him a big head. So we're going to move along before Christian's head gets too much bigger. As we like to do at the start of every episode, what have you been watching, reading, listening to, or playing lately? We like to start off the episode with that. So with that being said, Christian, do you wanna lead this one away, or do you want me to start, or how would you like to do that?
Sure. Yeah, I'll lead. So I just watched recently the trailer for the new Tekken show that's coming to Netflix. And for those of you who may not know, I'm a huge fighting game fan. So I love anything pertaining to that. Tekken's one of my first loves. There's Mortal Kombat, there was Tekken, there's Soul Calibur, all those fighting games I would, grow up playing.
Is Tekken
so
number 2 for you?
Tekken was number 2. So not so much so anymore. Like I'm more into Street Fighter than Tekken, but I do like the original story of Tekken more than I like the original story of Street Fighter, just because I was just so into it.
I'm just gonna throw this out before you get going. Papa Ding said that's like his favorite game is Tekken, and he loves Tekken, and he was throwing down a gauntlet to challenge, and I told him I wasn't sure if you really played Tekken.
Yeah, like I definitely haven't played in a while, so I'm super rusty. Give me a couple of days, and then I will gladly accept that challenge.
Ooh, okay.
But right now, like I'm just too rusty. But I'm super excited for this show because it has like some of the best characters. Like I said, it's only a season. It's on Netflix, so with a Netflix show, especially if it's an anime, like that you'll be in like Netflix hell for years before you get a season 2. So for this season, we're getting you're getting Jin, obviously, is the main character. Jin Kazuma. You have June, his mother. You have Ancient Ogre, Hahachi. You have to have Hahachi if it's a Tekken story. You have King 2, I believe, is in this story. Paul's in this. Leroy's in this. True Ogre's in this. Kazuya is definitely in this, and he is my favorite Tekken character of all time, for those who didn't know. And then we have Devil Jin. So I'm super, super excited to watch this. The animation is more CG than anything, so I'm not a huge fan of that CG animated style, but I really want to see this story, and I hope that it's good. So that's one of the things that I watched. I also rewatched the trailer for Moon Knight. Super excited for that.
Tekken's already out?
No, Tekken's not out yet. It's coming out. They just dropped the trailer for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually don't know the full release date for it. I know it's coming out this year. I just don't know when exactly. I don't remember that being in the trailer. I think it just said 2022. So like I said, I'm looking for it, and I'm going to definitely be digging into the show to see if I can find more information before it comes out. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
And then the last thing, I've actually been reading this week. and not a comic. I read a novel this week. The novel was called The Echo Wife. I can't remember who the author was right now off the top of my head. But I went to the library and I checked out a couple books, and that was one of them. And I read The Echo Wife, and it was about a career. Like, mind you, this isn't something that I would normally read. I just chose it, kind of at random. I went to the library, looked up some books that might be interesting, and this popped up, so I gave it a shot. And it's about this career woman who is married, and she is a geneticist, and she's making clones. And the whole reason why she can ethically make these clones is because they're not able to reproduce, and their lifespans are super short. And her husband wants to start a family. She doesn't. Because she's all about her career. And so he clones her, and he leaves her for the clone, essentially. And it's really crazy, really full of drama. Like I said, not necessarily something I would pick out for myself, but like I said, I gave something different a shot. And it's just the story about how that happened. So the main plot is he leaves her for the clone, and then the clone and her meet up one day for tea, and the clone is pregnant, and she's like, that's impossible. I made it so that clones couldn't reproduce. So she figures out that her husband found a way around that. So she's trying to figure that out. And then that same night, the clone calls her from the husband's phone and tells her to come over right away. She does. And she finds out that the clone has killed the husband. And the rest of the book is about how they reconcile that giant plot point. So that's what I did this week.
Okay. Myself, I have been watching, I watched the Halo series, the first episode, and
All right.
I'm gonna refrain from getting into that because that is something we can discuss at another day that I will probably go on a tangent on. Halo is something very near and dear to my heart, and I have mixed feelings about it, to say the least.
Okay.
But I have watched that first episode of that. Me and the missus watched it, and I've watched WWE's Evil series. I think it's produced and narrated or something like that by John Cena. Pretty much he goes over a couple different villains, that they've had arcs over the years and stuff, like Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, Stephanie McMahon. Who else did they show? The Brothers of Destruction. It's people like that. Roman Reigns was one. It was pretty interesting, hearing some of the stories and the background psychology and stuff like that of it. Watch that. Playing-wise, I have been playing more Elden Ring, of course. I can't talk today, apparently. I don't know what's wrong with me. Playing more Elden Ring. Still loving it. It is definitely my game of the year at this point. I am interested in Tiny Tina. Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Haven't played it yet. Been watching it. It's getting good reviews. But I also have started doing some TikTok lives. I've been given access to be able to do that. So I've been doing some TikTok lives, and I've been playing Fortnite because they've added no build mode, which is crazy. And it's actually has been a ton of fun. So I've been playing a little bit of that as well. So that's kind of been what I've been doing this week. So fun stuff. Heck yeah.
That sounds really cool. Like, I'm not a big Fortnite player, but people really like it and really get into it. So that seems like something that's really cool, especially with the new modes that they give. So, I mean, it's cool to see games like that have new stuff coming out with them every day, or, not every day, but like every few months or so. So that's nice to see.
And
but as far as games,
I used to play it a lot, Fortnite. I used to really love it, like the old school Fortnite. And then it just I lost interest, fell off. I was never some cracked kid that could do crazy builds and stuff like that. So it kind of got to the point where I was like, I'm playing more casual. I'm having fun with friends, like with the community, stuff like that. We're goofing off. Mm-hmm. And then this mode kind of brings back the old school feel. So it has been fun. It does get sweaty, but it has been fun. There's a rumor it's going to be a permanent mode. And they're going to bring back, of course, building and stuff, but they'll have its own permanent mode. So we'll see. We'll see how it does.
Nice, man. I'm excited. That's not really my type of game. Like, I'm not really into the battle royale type games. I really enjoy fighting games. I like RPGs. I like Souls types games.
Have you ever played those
are
game?
Really like. Yeah. I played Dark Souls. I played a lot of the Souls games actually. Now that doesn't mean I'm good at those games, but
I didn't know you played them. That's why I asked. I know that was your thing.
Yeah, like I'm terrible at those games, but I definitely play them.
Gotcha. They've always been something I've been interested in playing, but I would kind of steer away from because I knew like the rage factor. But I've enjoyed Elden Ring a lot. It's been a good game. It's been fun. It's been fun to play and stream in the mornings for sure.
That sounds like something that I would like to play in the mornings. But I mean, like I said, I mean, I'm really just kind of waiting for, like, I like stuff like God of War. Like, I like single player story heavy type RPG games. Those are just like more fun for me.
Yeah.
Because the online community is great, but if you don't have the time to, really commit to being online with friends, then it kind of takes away from the fun of that. So any game where you can just drop in and play, like people love, the Call of Duties and the Fortnite and stuff, because you can drop in and spend an hour or two, 45 minutes on those games, and it's great. But like I said, when I'm playing, like I want to spend some time with the game. I want to completely dive in. So it's just a different culture for me,
Gotcha.
It's all good.
You want to drop in Injustice or Mortal Kombat and get beat down by me and then, go order a pizza or something?
I don't know about getting beat down.
I mean, yeah, we know. We all know.
We don't.
We all know. It's okay. All right, so moving on to our first topic of the day, the legend Triple H. Been around for, I want to say his career, as of the time he announced it, I want to say it was 30 years in a day. He was a professional wrestler. He has officially retired from in-ring action. He's still going to be doing behind-the-scenes stuff, but he had actually, I think, was it last September? Yes, last September, following a bout with viral pneumonia, he had he went into heart failure, and it was pretty crazy. I listened to the interview. He went on to Stephen A. Smith. He was talking with him, and he pretty much said like there's a certain percentage of like I guess that monitors your heart and like its production, and I forget what he said normal was, but it got to like 30, and then the next day it was like 20 something, and then it was like in the teens, and it was just dropping. They're like, hey, you need to go to the ER now. He was working on a fraction of full strength, and he just had full-on heart failure going. So very scary situation for him, but he officially announced his in-ring retirement. He's 52, and it was rumored that he was potentially, him and Vince had already talked about him having a match for this upcoming WrestleMania, but obviously not in the cards. He said, of course, it put everything in perspective. He has, I think, 3 teenage daughters, I believe. And he's married to Stephanie McMahon, those that don't know, the Vince McMahon's daughter. And it's wild. It's crazy. It's crazy. But he has been running wild. I mean, he was over NXT. He's been doing a lot of behind-the-scenes work. He also does some in-ring talent stuff occasionally. Not full-time, but he would do, big events, Manias, some, Crown Jewel or whatever, over Super Showdown, all the ones they would do like overseas and stuff. He would do those occasionally. But yeah, he said, I will never wrestle again. And first of all, I have a defibrillator in my chest, which, is not a good idea for me to get zapped on live TV. So he's done. Like, I don't really see a way for him to be able to come back at all. Christian, do you? I mean, with that, like, it's not, if that's in his chest and keeping him going and he had potential heart failure, I think that's.
Yeah, so the way that I feel about it, Triple H should have retired a long time ago. The last couple of matches that he's had on live TV, they've not been the best that he can do. And it's because, I mean, this kind of thing takes a toll on your body, right? Like it really, really messes you up, taking all these hits. And Triple H has, been in the game for so long. Like he was there back when people were juicing up all the time and, doing all this stuff cold. And there was a lot of drugs going on and stuff back in the day when he was, in his prime. So I absolutely think that it's, long time coming. They're the only wrestler that I know of that's been wrestling longer than Triple H that, that was active was Undertaker. And that's because Undertaker's effectively immortal. Like, I don't think that dude's ever going to die. And I'm okay with it. But yeah, Triple H definitely needs to stop for sure. And I mean, he had a good run, dude. He had a really good run. He's like, he owns so much of the company at this point. His father-in-law runs everything. His wife does the rest. Like, it's just time to be done. And I remember the last time he had a match, like I think he like had super black like bruises on his chest where he like tore his
Yeah.
pectoral muscles or something like that. So like, yeah, man, he's out of his prime. He definitely shouldn't be doing this anymore. He doesn't need to. He doesn't have anything to prove to anyone. Like everybody in the company respects him. No matter if they don't like him, they still respect him. You know what I mean? It's like somebody like CM Punk still respects Triple H. He may not like him, but he respects him. So I totally see that. And I think that, like I said, it's just time. It's time to be done. He's done enough. He's done his job. He's done a good job. He's been a heel for so long now. I think it's time to just hang up the trunks, right? Because he's one of the wrestlers who prefers trunks as opposed to anything else. So yeah, definitely time to retire those trunks and just be a owner, be a dad, And I definitely wouldn't be good to get shocked on live TV for sure.
No, and I don't think it's anything to do with drugs or anything like that because it's pretty well documented. I don't want to say he's straight edge, but he didn't drink and didn't do drugs because he was always back when the Clique had their thing with Shawn and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and all them. He was the DD, and it's noted. I think the first time he got like his seal of approval from Taker, Taker said he was like okay with him, and they did a shot of Jack, and Taker knew he didn't drink, but he's always been pretty clean. I just think it's like years of being on the road, years of stress, the stress
on your
of
body,
the job,
dude,
and now being an executive doesn't help at all either. Because I mean, you look at what all he has to do. I forget his schedule. Him and like Vince and them schedule is nuts. They get up at like 1 or 2 a.m. and work out, and then they're wherever for meetings, and then they're there for like tapings, and I don't know. It's crazy. They're like nonstop on the go.
Yeah, I'm also like a bit of this I will admit is biased. So that's definitely there. And like not necessarily bitterness, it's just more so of a bias. But when you're in a position like Triple H, right? When you're in that kind of position of power and you're in that position of wealth and money, like I don't feel bad that he is retiring. Like I said before, it's time for sure for him to step down, but that's not his job anymore. You know what I mean? Like he's got too much now going on for him. Like he doesn't have to do that work anymore. Like he's made the money, he's made the investments. Like he can do whatever he wants. This is a person who can literally just go out and just buy a house anywhere in the world if he wanted to. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying like, oh, he's so rich now he doesn't need to do this. I'm just saying he has put his time in, he's put his body through the ringer. And when I brought up earlier with like the drugs and stuff, I'm just saying that to say, for clarification, it's more so me just bringing that up because I was saying he has been doing this for so long.
He's back when like Hogan and them were there and like all the ones that were like larger than life. That's
yeah. And when you like back when it was kind of okay under the table for these guys to juice up, like he's been around since then, so he should definitely be able and be comfortable with retiring at this point. And like I think that's a good thing for him, dude. Like he's got too much going on, and his job now is to discover new wrestlers. You know what I mean? Like Rhea Ripley's and Seth Rollins and stuff like that. Like he should be finding new wrestlers like that to fill those spots. He doesn't have to do it anymore. So good for him, man. He's had a good run. He's great to watch, and I still watch those old matches of his all the time.
Yeah. He has some classics.
The pedigree. Anytime somebody got pedigreed, when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, they're dead, bro. They're done. They're not kicking out of this.
And he had an iconic entrance too. He used to have the Motorhead singing Time to Play the Game, all that stuff, or King of King, great entrance. The water spit. How many kids would run around and spit water? I know I did. I can't even lie.
I did that all the time, and like then one day I woke up and I was like, this is gross. I'm never gonna do this again. I mean, but yeah, man, like I said, that's all I'll say about that particularly is like I think that he's had a fantastic run as a wrestler, as a heel. He was never you can tell he was never clearly comfortable being a babyface. He just felt
he's always in the gray. He's one that like
definitely
he thrived in the gray. Like you knew he could sometimes do good things and he was okay, but there's always that chance that he would just turn and like go full heel on you. And people loved him for it.
Yeah, they did. I guess that's a perfect segue for our next
Well,
thing to talk about, isn't it?
before we go into all that, I wanted to just give a little more on it because I mean, I didn't really say a lot on like the stuff, but pretty much he told them he was suffering from viral pneumonia. September, and his wife Stephanie noticed he was coughing up blood. They went to the hospital where the doctor discovered he had fluid in his lungs and around his heart. They told him he only had his heart was working at a fraction of full strength and he was in bad heart failure. He said, I was nosediving in sort of the 1 yard line where you don't want to really be for your family and your future. There's moments when they're in there and you're pulling you out for stuff and you think, is this it? Do I wake up from this? It's tough to swallow. It makes you think differently. Some of his highlights from his career before we move on. He was inducted in WWE Hall of Fame in 2019 with his late 90s group D-Generation X. He has been a 5-time World Heavyweight Champion, a 5-time WWE Intercontinental Champion, a winner of 2 Royal Rumble matches. He's a New Hampshire native and Connecticut resident as one of the most successful wrestlers of the 2000s. His last match took place on an untelevised card in Tokyo in 2019, June 29th of 2019. His last televised match was a few weeks earlier, June 7th, 2019, against longtime rival Randy Orton in Saudi Arabia. In his last WrestleMania match come in 2019, a win over longtime wrestler and current Hollywood star Dave Bautista. He's noted as being a WWE exec and head of promotions development brand NXT. So yeah, congrats Triple H on an awesome career. Definitely health first with the family and everything. And at this point, kind of like you said, there's really nothing else for him to accomplish that he's going to do. You know, just one-off matches and like things like that, spots and Mania and all. But I mean, I think it's good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does behind the scenes in the future because I do like the work he's done with NXT and stuff like that, the development, helping young talent. So congrats on Triple H on an awesome career. 25 years with WWE, and I think maybe 30 years. I'm not sure how long he did WCW before that, but I want to say someone said 30 years. I could be wrong, but yeah. Awesome
I gotta
career.
say, like, you mentioned that match that he had for Old Mania with Batista. That was around the time when I got back into wrestling, and I really enjoyed watching Batista, like, you know, back when he was in his prime and stuff. So when that match was announced, I was super, super excited. But I gotta say, man, like, I was so disappointed with that match, dude. Like, one, Batista lost. And I mean, I knew he was gonna lose because he's Batista and Triple H is Triple H. So, like, yeah, you
Triple H
already
was on
knew
a
what was
losing
gonna happen
streak,
with
I think
that.
before that. I think he had lost like a couple Manias in a row.
Yeah, but I mean, that kind of stuff doesn't really count though, because it wasn't this match. You know, it wasn't this match. This match mattered. This match counted. And the way that they promoted it, stuff that they did leading into it was great. And Batista was so hyped for the match himself. And like, I remember he like tripped and fell.
He tripped going
getting
into the ropes.
ring.
I remember that, like trying to get in the ring, he
Yeah.
fell, and I was like, oh God, it's not a good start.
Yeah, not a good start to that. He totally fell, you know, ate crap going in. So I remember that. Like, I was like, oh, great. We're starting the match with a botch. So we had the botch. And then after that, I just remember thinking to myself, like, you know what, man? Like, Batista needs to win this, but I bet they're going to make him lose. And then he totally lost, and I was not happy with that. And the match itself, like, these guys, like I said, they're old, they're rusty. And you could totally tell watching it, and that kind of was, you know, disappointing. Not because it wasn't fun to watch because they were rusty. It was just because I think they didn't have enough time to prepare for this match fully. And then they ended up getting hurt afterwards. And I just don't think that was a good farewell for either one of them. But like I said, the hype leading up to that match, man, I was definitely there. I was so excited for that. I was on board. I was watching all the promo material. You know, I was into it. But, you know, like I said, good career to both of them.
Yeah, Batista retired
you know,
right after that. I think like the day after or that night or something like that. He retired from in-ring as well.
Yeah, that was his last match. I think he announced the retirement before that match even took place because he had promoted it being his very last match in the ring, and I really hated to see him go out like that, man. I did, but you know, that, you know, story for another day.
All right, so let's segue on to a recent release. WWE, keeping it in their family, just released WWE and 2K games, I should clarify. Just released WWE2K22. There is quite a bit about this game. They have redesigned the gameplay engine, new controls, and they're saying it hits different. I have it. I haven't got to play it yet. So pretty much it returns with all new features you can handle. Get ripped out of the stands and hit with a complete control of WWE Universe. Throw down with the biggest and most realistic WWE superstars and legends. Relive pivotal moments in Rey Mysterio's iconic career in 2K Showcase. And that's straight from the WWE2K22 website. So this has been interesting because there is a hardcore community behind these games, with creators and stuff like stream, like all kinds of stuff. People really love these games. And the last one they did was 2K20, and it just absolutely shit the bed. For lack of better words, it shit the bed. In fact, its score on IGN, which however you rank IGN scores, was a 4.3. In comparison, 2K22, I think you said got like an 8.0 or something.
Yeah,
huge improvement over 4.3. 4.3 is hot garbage. Or what? Boo boo shoes. Is that what you called it?
Boo boo shoes.
Yeah. So, and a quick thing on what they said about 2K20 to talk about how bad it was. It says WWE2K19 looked like it stopped the downward trend for the series, but 2K20 doubles back, breaks its ankles, tumbles down the slope. Fundamental parts that felt totally fine in 19 now feel clumsy. The impressive roster of 238 superstars is all but meaningless when the majority of them look like they crawled out of a PS2 era wrestling game. 2K20's career mode offered better wrestling story mode than the previous 2K games, but that's a low bar to clear. It is saddled with bad progression, plotting pace, and the mess 2K needs to clean up. It was so bad, people just like roasted and were playing other games. And then I think they released another one, or maybe they didn't release anything last year. Was last year Battleground?
Yeah, last year 2K didn't do anything. They released some kind of Battlegrounds, like it didn't matter. Like that game was like it looked like a mobile game that they released on console. It wasn't good at all. It was like a card-based game or something like it was stupid, just something to make them some extra money. But it was bad. And then like you were just saying, the 2K20, that game was hot garbage, man. It was trash. I'm not like the biggest wrestling fan in the world. I do enjoy the sport. I do enjoy watching. Like it's fun to, pop a beer and watch that. But here's the thing, man. That game was so bad, it made me not want to watch wrestling anymore. That's how bad it was. And then you have this one that comes out, and it's fantastic. Like I said, the
better reviews, and people are definitely liking it more for sure. Like I feel like I've seen more positive things about this one. Last one, it was just everybody was like trashing it. This one, I feel like I'm seeing positive things. I haven't got hands on. I didn't play the last one either.
That's fair. Like this one, the new one. I'm talking about the new one right now. The new one, like I've watched plenty of gameplay on it. It's pretty good. The graphics are way better. The game is way better. The gameplay is way better. The story is way better. It's just a better game. It's what we should have gotten already. The bar was pretty low, so anything would have been better than what we got previously. But they actually tried on this one, and you can tell. They actually made a game worth playing, and that's like 101 for making games. Make a game that people want to play, and they totally did that. They nailed it. So I'm excited to see what they do in the next installment, but also I do want to take time with this one and just enjoy this one for what it is.
Did they redo the engine? Can't wait. Do you know? The
engine, I don't know if it's completely redone. I do know the controls are redone.
They changed a lot, I think. Right.
Yeah, you can totally feel it when you're playing the game as well. Like when you start playing the game, you make your character. If you do that, and you start getting in there and learning the controls, it's definitely different, but it's different in the best way. And that's just because like this one feels more like a wrestling game of the modern day, and that's the best way that I can explain that without just completely telling you about the engine and all that boring stuff. But it's definitely different. It's definitely better. And as soon as you turn the game on and you start, I know you're going to make a character when you personally start playing. You're going to make your own person and start that story up. As soon as you get into your first match, coming out of the training school or going into the training school, when you start your first match, you're going to tell immediately. You're going to be able to tell immediately that the game is different. So I can't wait for you to enjoy that.
And it says that the wrestling feels much faster and is more pick up and play friendly than ever. So that's good. So hopefully it continues to do well and they continue to put patches and whatever issues it may have. I don't really know what issues are out there for it. Like I said, I have it. I haven't played it yet, but I have heard really good things about it, which is good because, like I said, there's a large community for this. I know I've made content around them in the past, and people enjoy it. They love having wrestlers created for them, being able to like have that little kind of fun shit talk, rivalry with people. It's like you have your own thing going. I don't know. It's fun. It makes for fun content. So hopefully this game continues to live up and, maybe rebuild this franchise some, because it definitely had some down years and was in a very bad spot. So glad to hear it's doing better. But if you don't have anything else on that, we're going to segue to the next little topic. Do you have anything else you want to add there, Christian?
I don't.
Okay. All right, next topic. We're going to talk about this year's Hall of Fame. So they've announced a few Hall of Fame inductees. Big Van Vader is one, Queen Sharmell, and of course the big one, which I'm really excited about as he's one of my all-time favorites. The Undertaker is getting inducted into Hall of Fame. And they've also recently announced that the Warrior Award winner for this year will be Shad Gaspard, after his heroic and selfless act, tragic, heroic, selfless act in 2020. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know if you ever watch the Hall of Fame. Me and the missus do. It's kind of our tradition. We do stuff every year for WrestleMania. We, since we've been together and everything, we kind of enjoy that weekend. NXT used to be on Saturday. Now WrestleMania is a 2-night thing. It's Saturday and Sunday. I think there may actually be NXT on Saturday again this year. But they have Hall of Fame, NXT, all the stuff that goes with it. It's a fun weekend. We usually cook, smoke something, or grill something, do food. And it's just a fun weekend. Family usually comes over, and it's a good time. But do you watch the Hall of Fame? Do you pay much attention to it, or?
I kind of just check the highlights like on online. I don't really watch the Hall of Fame. But as far as WrestleMania goes, if I'm available to actually take the time out to watch that, I will for sure.
Gotcha. Hall of Fame can be dry and like kind of drag on because you get some of the older ones, they kind of go. But I do like hearing the stories, hearing people induct them and them talk about it. Some of it, like I said, can drag on. They definitely try to keep them on time limit, but it is cool seeing the different ones. And I personally have always been a fan of hearing like behind the scenes stuff with them, like whether it be stories from the road or, stories from like different events or things leading up to it. I like hearing the behind the scenes, what you don't see on TV and all that stuff. Yeah. So I enjoy that with like documentaries and things like that. But since we don't have much more on Hall of Fame, we're going to move on to WrestleMania 38. I have a list of the matches that are confirmed as of this day. We're about a week out from WrestleMania. There is a few that are speculated. We'll talk about them, but I thought it would be fun if we kind of just went through the matches, briefly talked about them, maybe gave our predictions, and then we'll, touch back, of course, now on next week's episode because it's already recorded, but maybe the week after we'll briefly touch and see how we did picking. Yeah. And see who did better, me or you. And then I'd also like for our listeners, you can go on one of the socials and give us your predictions or, go and gild it and drop the predictions, whatever you want to do. It'd be nice to hear, or YouTube comments. But I thought we could go over them and kind of just both of us predict who we think's going to win and stuff like that. It could be fun. Like I said, we're about a week out. It'll be in Dallas at AT&T Stadium or Arlington, Texas, AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys, whatever. So it's set for April 2nd and 3rd, WrestleMania 38. Huge stadium. And yeah, let's start with, I think this is the Saturday matches. I could be wrong. They could have changed them, but I think this is the Saturday matches. And we will start with one that I know you're super excited for and has one of your favorite, the Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch, the current champion, versus Bianca Belair. What do you think about that one?
So I think okay, so I'll just give you my prediction. I think that Bianca's going to win. It just makes the most sense for her character to win a WrestleMania, her first WrestleMania to win this. I think that would be like just a really cathartic moment. It'd be cool to have another woman of color winning the championship. I actually like both of these wrestlers, these women, quite a bit. I think that they're great at what they do. They're fun to watch. But with that said, I definitely want Becky to win. Becky is a great character. I've been pulling for Becky since before she was cool. I've liked her since she started when they had her doing like really, really dumb things. And she's just fun, man. She's so fun to watch. I remember when she first started her whole like the man persona, and she was supposed to be a heel, but fans, myself included, just liked her so much turning on Charlotte Flair that we didn't care. We ate up everything she said, and they made her a babyface again like the next day because nobody cared that she was a babyface. They just hated Charlotte and they wanted her to win. So, and I'm still on that train. Like, I love Becky Lynch. I want her to win, but my prediction is that Bianca will win.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with you. I think Bianca wins this just because Becky has been the champ for like technically she's never lost it since she won at that WrestleMania with Ronda and
Charlotte.
It was Charlotte, right? Yeah, Ronda and Charlotte. She won there. She's had this run as the man, big time Bex, all that stuff. She stepped away for having birth of her daughter, her and Seth Rollins' daughter, and she squashed Bianca at SummerSlam in a surprise return. Like, within seconds, I think she beat her in Bianca's reign from where she won at last WrestleMania. So I think Bianca wins right here to stop the reign and kind of get redemption for the SummerSlam thing. That's kind of my
prediction. It just makes sense. Like I said, I would love to see Becky be the champ for another 6 months, but it's not going to happen just because WWE doesn't really know how to keep stories going like that. So they're definitely going to have her lose. She'll probably take some time off to be at home with her daughter, which, like I said, makes perfect sense. But if it were up to me, she would totally win.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind Becky winning. Like, I'm cool with either one. I think both are talented and good. So they're definitely pushing Belair, which Belair is she's a really good talent. So
yeah, I love them both. I've just been a Becky fan.
Her and Sasha stole the show last year. I felt like her and Sasha's match last year's WrestleMania was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I'll tell you what match I'd love to see though. I'd love to see Bianca Belair take on Ronda Rousey, and I would love to see her beat Ronda Rousey. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Okay, all right. So we both go with Bianca on that first one. Bianca actually earned her shot by winning in the women's elimination chamber to go to Mania. She didn't win the Royal Rumble. Ronda actually won the Royal Rumble. We'll get to Ronda in a bit. All right, the next one, The Miz and Logan Paul versus the Mysterios, Ray and Dominic. What are you thinking in this one?
I'm going to keep this one short. I think that Miz and Logan Paul win this because of who they are, and that's my prediction.
Okay, I'm going to go on the opposite side. I think this is people. I feel like people love to hate Logan Paul.
I hate Logan Paul.
I mean, I'm not a fan of them. I do think they're great marketers. I think they're very smart in that aspect, and they have done very well for themselves. Personally, I've never been a fan of like their content and stuff, and they're obnoxious. It's whatever. Anyways, I think this is one of them star power matches where you're bringing someone in and you have the Miz, and obviously I just think the Mysterios get the win, and obviously they will not pin. I will be shocked if they pin Logan Paul. I'll be shocked if they allow him to take the fall, but I think they will end up pinning Miz, getting that nice father-son moment, and that will be it. So
I hope you're right, dude. I really do. I really hope that you're correct on this.
So I'm going against you on that one. I'm going with the Mysterios. You're going with Miz and Logan Paul.
Yep.
Hopefully that's a good match. I don't really know. I'm kind of curious to see how Logan Paul is because, obviously he's trained to box, but I'm curious. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to go. That's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. The next one, we have Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin.
Quick predict. I'm going to try to keep these quick. I think Drew takes this one.
Yeah. Man, there's going to be twists because there's always these matches where it seems like it's for sure a win, and then WWE will throw a curveball just to like anything can happen kind of moment. I would really love to see Corbin win this. I feel like this feud has been going on for a while. McIntyre, obviously he's been getting better of them, and rightfully so. They've built him up as one of their top baby faces, right? He had the championship run. He beat Brock Lesnar, all that stuff. I think this would give extra heat and stuff onto Corbin, but I do kind of think McIntyre ends up winning just to keep that baby face, keep him strong looking. But seeing Corbin take a win could maybe build towards him having a little run towards something. I like Corbin, but I do think I'm going to agree with you on McIntyre winning that one.
Yeah, I like Corbin. I would like to see him win more matches, just not this one.
I would like to see him have a little title run because he is a good heel. Corbin is a really good heel. So
he's a great heel, and that's why I don't want to see him win this.
See, he's doing his job. All right, next one: SmackDown Tag Team Championship. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay versus Rick Boggs and Nakamura.
So I'm going to try to keep this one quick as well. Shinsuke is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I love Shinsuke Nakamura. I think he, like, the master of strong style dude, he's a great human being. He's a great wrestler. But for the predictions of this match, I'm going with the Usos.
Oh man, I'm kind of torn on this one because I almost feel like I want to say Nakamura and them just to kind of take the belt off the Usos because they've had it so much, but at the same time, that's tough. I kind of want to go with the Usos too. But how long have they had the belt? They've had it for a while right now, right?
They've had the belt so many times, but I mean, I'm just looking at this matchup, dude. Like Rick Boggs, dude, there's no way in my mind that they take this match.
They're building him up as a powerhouse, though.
But to me, like, the only way that the Usos lose this match is if something happens, some outside interference.
Wait,
if we get outside interference on this match, then they lose.
Something for you to think about. Has Nakamura ever won the tag team title? He hasn't, right?
Yes. I think he has.
Who did he win with? He's been a heavyweight champion. Remember. He's been the Intercontinental champion. I don't know if he's been U.S. champion. He might have.
I'm pretty sure he had a tag team with somebody like in 2018, 19. I just don't remember who it was. It was after the feud that he had with AJ, I believe.
I'm looking it up now because if he hasn't won, then I almost think they get it just to give him because he's in his like 40s.
Yeah, dude, I love Shinsuke. I just think like I don't know, man. The Usos just win all the time at big events like this. So that's just the easy bet is them.
Okay, he's a 2-time United States champion and a 2-time Intercontinental champion. And then
okay.
he didn't actually win the title, did he? Never mind, I'm wrong. He won the Royal Rumble and he lost, and that's when he turned heel. He never actually beat AJ. That was AJ's like year run, so I was wrong.
Okay.
So he's never been the main champion, and he's never been a tag team, I don't believe. So
well,
I'm gonna
throw a
curveball. I'm going with Nakamura and them as the for him to get that. Just because he was born in 80. So he's like, early 40s or something?
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, we don't know how much longer Nakamura probably has. I don't know how much is even on his contract, but I think he gets this. I'm going to give him this one. So I'm going with them. So I'm going against you on yet another one.
All
right. So moving on, Edge and AJ Styles.
I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. This one's Edge.
Ooh. Okay, no reason why you think it's Edge?
I think it's Edge because Edge, the way that his contract is set up, man, he can only wrestle so much, right? That actually he can only wrestle so much. I think that if he goes to another WrestleMania and loses, there is no reason for him to keep having matches. So unless his contract is about to be up, like there's no way he loses this match. I love AJ Styles and I also love Edge. Like these are both fantastic wrestlers. They're both fun to watch. They're both good human beings for the most part anyway. I really like AJ Styles as just a person. I really like him as a wrestler. He's fun, but I just think that Edge takes this.
Okay. So Edge, I think Edge has nothing else to prove. He's already a Hall of Famer. He's already had his run. I think he's back just to end on his own terms and to create stories. So I don't think he necessarily cares about, do I win or lose at Mania? Because at this point, he's already a Hall of Famer. What does it matter, I think AJ wins this, which AJ's resume is already impressive, but I just think Edge turned heel, and I feel like AJ wins it. Edge could win it and to start a nice heel run for him, but he's just there to build really good storylines and work with young talent, which AJ's not young, but work with this talent he's never got to work with. I'm going to go AJ again. God, that one's tough, though, because I could see Edge winning. Edge lost last year.
Yeah, he's winning this year, dude. I'm calling it now.
Okay. I'll go against you, though. I'll go AJ. Just because,
right.
I don't know. AJ was in a tag team last year, right? Yeah. So, okay. Moving on. SmackDown Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey.
So I'm going to keep this one short and sweet as well. I think Ronda wins this because this is the perfect time for her to come in and actually hold a title again. Plus, it's Charlotte Flair. Charlotte's won the title so many times. She's been a champion so many times. It's time for her to take a break. I just think Ronda wins this because if Becky wins over Bianca, that puts both of those women back on top, and then they'll find a way to have them have a rematch. They'll find a way. So I think Ronda takes this one. Plus, it's her second WrestleMania. They're not going to have Ronda come in and lose WrestleMania. Oh, I'm sorry, third. Sorry, third. She's not going to come in and lose at WrestleMania to Charlotte. I'm not seeing that. I'm just not seeing it.
I'm on board with you. I think Ronda wins. I think, Charlotte's already won. I don't even know how many at this point. But I think they're setting Ronda up for another run, to be the champion. One thing to kind of think about, we never got the Becky-Ronda one-on-one, the man versus Ronda. So I wonder if Becky does drop, like we both kind of think she will, drop the belt to Bianca, and maybe, I don't know if Charlotte's going to take a little break after this or what Charlotte has going on, but maybe Becky will come challenge Ronda for the belt or something. We'll see. But I agree. I think Ronda wins this. I think it's a really physical match, and I expect the girls to go all out like they usually do. Charlotte does great every pay-per-view. She's really talented. But I do expect a really physical, brutal match between the two. But I think Ronda comes out on top. All right. So supposedly there's speculation on which one should be the headliner. Ronda and Charlotte originally was steady to be the headliner of Saturday, but now people are saying it could be Stone Cold appearing on the Kevin Owens show for their confrontation. Obviously, because Stone Cold, one of the biggest names in wrestling history, everybody knew who Stone Cold was. Not really sure which one's headlining, but the last one for Saturday that we've got listed, Stone Cold appears on the KO show hosted by Kevin Owens. What are you thinking? How does this go on? Obviously, it's going to be an altercation. They've been talking trash. This is going to be a fight.
I think that, realistically, I'll keep this one short as well. I think that this is going to end with Stone Cold giving Kevin Owens a stunner and then drinking beer. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think it has to. I don't think Stone Cold necessarily comes back and you're Austin, you have a messed up neck, you had to retire. Do you come back and take a stunner and a beatdown from Owens to push him over? I guess they could, but at the same time, I think, they scrap, they fight for a little bit. Like you said, some stunners happen, all kinds of stuff. Austin flips him off, does typical Austin stuff, chugs beers, pours beer on Owens. Wrap night one, probably.
I'm just going to say, if they end this with Stone Cold taking a stunner from Kevin Owens, I'm probably going to just not even watch the next night.
How shocking would that be for Stone Cold to get put down by Owens?
If Stone Cold gets put down by Owens, dude, I'm done. I'm not even going to lie to you. I would be
heat. If Owens put down Stone Cold, imagine the heat Owens gets.
Bro, if that happens, I'm done. I'm just telling you.
That could be huge for Owens and a push on making him just like a top heel over on Raw. I don't know. I'm going to say Stone Cold, the safe bet, Stone Cold, coming in out of retirement, doing Stone Cold things. All right, so day 2. Let's move it along. Right. Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Supposedly, they're calling it the biggest match ever in the history of WrestleMania. Champion versus champion. What do you think?
I'm gonna try to keep this one short as well, like so we can move it along. I think that this match should end with Brock Lesnar winning, but I think that it will win. It'll probably be. Here's my prediction. My prediction is Roman takes this. Roman takes it because obviously he's gonna cheat. The Usos are gonna come out. They're gonna ruin some shit, and I think that Lesnar is gonna lose this one. That's what I think is gonna happen. But what should happen is the same thing that always happens when they go against each other, and Brock Lesnar should win. Roman Reigns already got a win over Brock Lesnar once at a WrestleMania, and I mean that's the one that counted at the time. But this should end with Brock taking the championship back. This should end with him being the champion again. This should end with him being the Beast again.
Are you okay with him having both belts and still being part-time, so not really being there as much? So I mean, he would he'll have both SmackDown and Raw belts. They're unifying them. So I mean, he won't really. So you have 2 shows without your champion there week in and week out. Roman's defense, he will, unless something's going on that we don't know about, he will be there week in and week out usually.
So yes, so the reason why, like, if this were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would have said absolutely not, hell no, I don't want to see that at all. But for the sake of like where the story is currently, for the sake of where the story can go, Brock Lesnar needs to win this. Even if he drops the belts the very next night, he needs to win. He needs to win at WrestleMania because Roman Reigns has been essentially uncontested because he's been winning through various heel ways, Village Chief heel ways. He's been doing all this stuff. And Mania is like the best place to put a top heel down. So why wouldn't you take that opportunity to put him down? Like I said, it's WWE. They don't do well with long form storylines. So I think Brock Lesnar could win this and then, like I said, drop it within another week or so. Yeah. But for the sake of the story, man, like yeah, he should totally drop the belt here. Do I think he will? No, I think they'll keep it on Roman Reigns. But my prediction is Roman Reigns. He's gonna win. He's gonna win it because he's gonna cheat. But I want to see Brock win for sure.
I will say I do think I like this iteration of Brock better, the Cowboy Brock, kind of him being different than the Brock we know in the past. I guess he's kind of a face in a way, but at the same time he's kind of gray area because he's Brock.
Yeah.
So I think I like the heel run of Roman Reigns a lot. I think this is the best character we have at Roman Reigns. I think he fits. He's a natural heel, and I think he's red hot as one. I would like to see him keep the belt, go on both shows, because it opens up more matches. But I have a feeling we'll get a big surprise in this one. There has been a lot of rumors about The Rock and Roman. I almost wonder if The Rock doesn't show up, costing Roman the championship, setting up their match for the next WrestleMania. That's my bold prediction. If he doesn't show up then, I wonder if he shows up the next day on Raw. But I kind of feel Brock gets it, and it's cost by somebody like The Rock or something like that. So I'm going to go with Brock, sadly, I guess. All right, okay. Next one. Women's Tag Team Championship. Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Naomi and Sasha Banks versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler. What you got?
Oh, man. The women of both of these, of SmackDown and Raw, don't get nearly enough time. They don't get enough time to develop characters. They don't get enough time for matches. They don't get enough time for anything. With that said, I know we just talked a whole lot about Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch, but for this match, man, like, I really don't know. Because so many of these women have been such good heels that this could just be another thing where somebody does some super cheap stuff and wins. So to keep this as short as I can, I think who's going to win this probably going to be, I think it's going to be Rhea and Liv, man. I'm going to go Rhea and Liv.
I'm right there with you. That's who I'm picking in this one. I just feel like they've been pushing Liv, and Rhea's obviously been pushed, so I feel like they take it.
Yeah, it just makes good sense. Like, Queen Zelina and Carmella, they're definitely not going to win this. I don't think that for a second. I think Naomi and Sasha Banks could totally win this just because of who they are. It would make a lot of sense. Sasha Banks usually does really well at events like this, but it just makes the most sense to go Rhea and Liv. And then Natalya and Shayna. I think Natalya and Shayna are going to put on a good show. I really do. I love both of those women as wrestlers. I think that they're fantastic to watch. I've always liked both of them. But for a tag team, nah, I just not seeing it.
Okay. All right, on to the next one. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory.
I'm gonna keep it sweet and short, man. I think that Austin Theory is gonna take this one.
Okay. I'm gonna go against you. I'm gonna take Pat just because he's on the mic all the time. He actually had an impressive showing going against Adam Cole. I believe he lost both of those or the matches he had, but he was impressive for someone that's not a wrestler. You know, former punter for the Colts, all that stuff. Podcaster, and he's also he's an announcer for him. So I'm going to go with Pat just to throw a curveball. Although Vince does really, I think they are trying to push Austin, so you may be right. But I'm going to go with Pat just to be different. Next one, Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville.
I haven't put much thought into this at all. I think that my prediction is Sami Zayn wins. But I would love if Johnny Knoxville won just because it's hilarious. But yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, but it'd be funny. But yeah, prediction, it's going to be Sami Zayn.
I think it's going to be Sami as well. I really want to go at Knoxville because I think it is some kind of crazy stipulation one. Actually, due to crazy stipulations, I'm going to say some other jackass stars get involved and somehow Knoxville steals a win from Sami. I'm going to switch. I'm going to go Knoxville.
Okay.
Because I think there's some kind of wild stipulation where they can, anything goes, or I don't know, something where it's not a normal match. So that opens it up for shenanigans, I feel like. Okay. Raw Tag Team Championship, RK Bro versus Street Profits versus Alpha Academy.
I'm going to keep this one short, dude. RK Bro's taking this.
Ooh, I really want to go. The only thing with RK Bro is when is Orton going to finally turn? You know it's coming eventually.
You know what, though? Damn. I take that back, dude. I think Street Profits are going to win this because RK Bro is going to break up here at Mania. I actually want to see RK Bro take this.
Did you know it's 100%. Coming? Riddle and Orton. You know Orton's going to turn. It will happen.
Yeah, he can't be a babyface for too long. He just can't.
I'm kind of wanting to go with you on Street Profits, but man, that one's tough. Street Profits are really good tag team. I'm gonna stay with RK Bro. Damn, I don't know.
No, that one's tough, man.
That is because it's coming though. But is it this one, or are they dropping in one of those teams?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to happen, dude. It's got to happen.
All right, I'll go. I think I'll go Street Profits. Although I don't know. Okay, Street Profits. I'm going with that. All right, so predictions on possible matches. First one, I don't think is going to happen. United States Championship, Finn versus Damian Priest. I think both of them are in the Andre the Giant Battle Royale, so I don't think that one's going to happen. So we'll just skip that. I don't really know who will win that. I don't really know who all's in that, honestly. That happens on Smackdown the night. That Friday night, so not sure on that one. If it did happen, who would you pick? I personally would go with Finn. I feel like he would come out as the Demon, possibly, because that would be perfect for Mania, a Demon entrance in Mania. But I would go with Finn regardless over Priest.
The exact same thing I was going to say. You just said absolutely the Demon. I think if that happens, he'd be the Demon. He would take it.
Okay, and then one that's heavily speculated. Rollins is going to have something at WrestleMania, and it's hugely rumored that WWE has signed Cody Rhodes from AEW coming back, and Rhodes is going to do a Hardy-style WrestleMania return where, you know, the Hardys showed up at WrestleMania several years back, and it's going to be Rhodes this year doing it. So, Rollins versus Rhodes. I'm going to have to say, as much as I would like Rollins to win, because I do love Rollins, I think Cody Rhodes, if they sign him to come back, takes the big win over Rollins at Mania. If it's true.
If this happens, then Rollins has to lose. That's just common sense.
Yeah.
So I agree.
Okay. All right. So I think that pretty much covers all the matches. I think that's about done it for the matches. I will put our stuff in Gilded, and we'll definitely keep on who we picked. I'm still torn on the Street Profits, so I may change my answer, but I'll change it like here soon. So final thing, one thing we wanted to do, last call. The first edition of it will be on next week's episode, but we're going to do a last call segment. It's how we wrap up the podcast. And this week's, we have one from Mad Sweeney himself. Says, Sin, congrats on getting the podcast up and running. Really enjoying the segments. My question to you is, who would you most love to have on as a guest for the podcast? Christian, do you want to start even though you asked me? Because this is a tough one for me. I'm not going to
lie. Sure. I'll take this one. So for me, I think that the person I would most love to have on the podcast as of right now, there is another podcaster / YouTube host. His name is Zach Cherry. He has a podcast called The Cherry Picker. I would absolutely love to have him and Eddie from Edward is Truth. I would love to have them on the podcast to talk about some horror material. That would be my absolute dream.
Okay. For me, there's a bunch. There's a lot of people. Obviously, Taylor Lewan from the Titans. He has the podcast Bustin' the Boys. I would love to have him on. Undertaker talking WWE, or Shawn Michaels, or any of them. That would be fantastic. Triple H, that would be awesome to talk to. Gold Glove from Content Creation. I would love to talk with him and pick his brain.
Dude, it'd be fun to talk to Goldie. That'd be cool.
Duck Sauce would be another one. CD in the Third, Tim the Tap Man. Different creators like that. Also musician wise, couple of the fellows from Polyphia would be awesome. Spencer from Ice Nine Kills, or Vigil, or some of the Ghost Inside boys, Chris or Jim or Andrew or any of them. That would be fantastic. Baron Corbin's another one. Like to have him on there. There's a lot. There's a long list of people I would love to get. Maybe one day, we'll get to the point where we can get them. But definitely some of those would be some. Ryan Reynolds is another one. Ryan Reynolds would be fantastic to talk to.
That's a pipe dream right there.
But yeah. So that's gonna do it for this episode. We just crossed the hour mark, so we're doing much better about getting these. But I hope you enjoyed episode 5. I believe this is. Like I said, episode 6 will be. It's kind of post-dated. It'll be the day before St. Patty's Day, so I hope you enjoy next week's episode. And then after that, we got some fun stuff coming up, talking about Moon Knight and some other fun things that are going on. So we got some good episodes in the works. But thank you for listening to our special WWE WrestleMania episode. And definitely let us know who you think, if you agree with our picks. If you disagree, why, all that, you can post it on the socials on YouTube, or come to the Gilded and let us know. And if you want to join the Gilded server, I highly recommend it. We have a section just for the podcast Sippin' With Sin. You can come to gilded.gg/Sinister Pack. And if it asks for an application, just simply put from the podcast, and that be that. And we will let you in here, and it's a great way to hang out. But as we like to do every episode, where you can find us, you can find me at Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. IamSinister TV. IamSinister on YouTube, where the podcast also gets a video form every Wednesday. And then I'm live every morning on Facebook Gaming, fb.gg/IamSinister TV. And then we also stream some on Twitch at twitch.tv/IamSinister TV. And we've been doing some TikTok lives, as well as posting on TikTok, just IamSinister TV over there. And you can find the podcast socials on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Sippin' With Sin. Go check it out, drop a follow, and interact with us over there. Christian, where can the lovely folks find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Vin. That's a V as in victory, E-N, and Ink. Vin and Ink, I'm on both of those all the time. Come say hi, look at some artwork, ask a question. I'm always around. That's where you guys can find me, of course. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all those things. And we'll see you in the next episode for sure.
Absolutely. New episodes every Wednesday, boys and girls. Every Wednesday, 8 a.m. And definitely post some last call questions for us. We've been getting a few in. Definitely post them on the socials, or come to the Gilded. We have a section just for it, and drop the question there. But thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to rate it 5 stars, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff and things. Share the podcast. Let's continue to grow this thing. And Christian, do you want to take us away and end it off for us?
Absolutely. Let's do it. So, guys, thanks again for another successful episode. We really appreciate you guys listening. Please don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe. Please leave us a 5-star review if you can. And don't forget, no matter what happens, guys, don't get gutted.
Yes, sir.